Tiffany Stratton's title reign has just kicked off the new year, and there's already a lot of great theories there, so we'll see what's that about. We'll also see what's new for John Cena, Solo Sikoa, and more. Starting things off with Tiffany Stratton and her official cash-in, Jax and Candice were looking everywhere for Tiffany Stratton all night long, but she cut off all communication with them and was nowhere to be found. But during the closing moments of Naomi and Jax's epic title match, Tiffany Stratton comes running down to the ring with a referee aside her. Tiffany teases cashing in, but instead takes out the referee and Naomi to help set up Jax to retain the title. So right here in this moment, it seemed like Tiffany was fearful of how Jax and Candice would treat her after last week's cash-in attempt. So out of that fear, she helped Jax retain the title to try and clear her name with them again. But to everyone's surprise, Tiffany still attacks Jax with the briefcase. Bianca Belair even gets involved, and then Tiffany Stratton finally cashes in to win the women's title. Some fans are confused by the ending and how the events played out there. Well, Tiffany Stratton couldn't help Naomi win the title because it would come off a bit heelish if Tiffany cashed in on a babyface that hasn't held a singles title in almost 8 years. So it was done in a way where Tiffany made sure Jax retained only so that she can personally cash in on Jax and get that large babyface reception for pinning her abusive former friend for the title. So the fact that they're opening up the year with Tiffany Stratton's new title reign, that's a good sign that this reign is going to be a main focal point of the women's division, at least for the opening months of the year for sure. So can we expect Tiffany Stratton to walk into WrestleMania 41 as champion? Unless something insanely drastic and out of left field happens, it does look like we can assume that Tiffany will be walking into the biggest event of the year as the reigning and defending champion. The question now becomes, who will Tiffany Stratton face at WrestleMania 41? Looks like Jax will get her rematch in the weeks to come, and that will really be Tiffany's first feud as champion. But it doesn't look like Jax versus Stratton would extend all the way to WrestleMania. So who would be the big and perfect opponent for Tiffany Stratton at that event? A lot of fans are still looking at Charlotte Flair to be that opponent. Charlotte is now 13 months removed from her knee surgery and has been training in the ring with other professional wrestlers for several months now. Her return was originally rumored for late 2024, but it's now looking like she could return literally any week now. And knowing who Charlotte is as a character, she's all about the gold and always wants to be involved in the title picture. So what if Charlotte returns with her crosshairs immediately pointed towards Tiffany Stratton's direction? Charlotte missed 13 months of action. It's been eating her up, so she wants to make up for the lost time by instantly winning the title again upon returning, therefore setting up Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton for the women's title at WrestleMania. And considering that Tiffany Stratton appears to now officially be a fresh new babyface, it seems like Charlotte will have no choice but to take on a heel persona for this feud. Charlotte's longtime nickname has always been the Queen, while the company has been calling Tiffany Stratton the Princess ever since last summer. So it sets up this big Queen versus Princess situation, present versus future. Can Tiffany Stratton prove herself as a legitimate champion by defeating one of the all-time greats, or will Charlotte Flair prove that she's better than ever and secure her 15th world title by beating the young and upcoming star? It's a match that fans have been discussing for a while, and something that we've even discussed here on WrestlingWorldCC dating back to the summertime as well, and it looks like it has a shot of legitimately coming together here in the coming weeks. As far as when we can see Charlotte Flair return and potentially kick this feud off, a lot of fans are looking at the Women's Royal Rumble match as an ideal spot for her return. The Royal Rumble is only a few weeks away, so if they're getting ready to bring Charlotte Flair back, that certainly is a perfect spot to do it at. So that's a very big WrestleMania title defense for Tiffany Stratton if the match does take place after all. As if the stakes were not already high enough for Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa's tribal combat match, they just increased even more. While Paul Heyman was speaking about how Roman will come out on top of the tribal combat match, out came Solo Sikoa to the ring to add something extra to this matchup. Solo said that he wanted Paul Heyman to be ringside for this match since he is someone that's been close, loyal, and fair to the family. Solo said that if he legitimately loses to Roman in the match, he will step down and acknowledge Roman as the one and only tribal chief. Can Solo Sikoa be trusted as a man of his word? It's hard to tell, and it's hard to imagine Solo just backing down after the months of battling we've seen between both sides. But assuming that Solo Sikoa is telling the truth there, that does sound insane because it would give Roman more power than he's ever had before. Roman already has the original bloodline on his side, so imagine if Solo really did wave the white flag and gave his men, along with himself, back to Roman's side. That would make Roman Reigns stronger and more powerful than he's ever been. So that's why it almost seems like there's no shot that Solo would actually acknowledge Roman. That'll just be way too much power for Roman. But along with control of the family, Solo Sikoa also wanted Paul Heyman to be on the line. If Roman wins, Heyman stays as his wise man and all as well. But if Solo wins, he says that Paul Heyman will come over to his side and be his wise man forever. And judging by the new advertisements and promotions for the tribal combat match, this is officially a stipulation that has been added to the match. The winner will not only become the undisputed tribal chief, but the winner will also get the services of Paul Heyman on top of that. So it's a massive match, and looking at everything that's on the line, it seems like this match had to be originally intended for WrestleMania 41 because that's how important it is with everything that's at risk. But instead of dragging it to WrestleMania, it looks like it's being done at the Raw premiere, and they'll take Roman in a different direction for WrestleMania 41 plans. Lots of rumors of CM Punk and Roman facing each other at WrestleMania 41, so maybe that is why the Solo Sikoa feud is ending earlier than expected. So it'll be extremely interesting to see how these events play out in the near future. John Cena's Instagram page is a pretty weird place because his page features nothing but very ambiguous photos with no captions at all. That's the main gimmick of his page, and it's been like that since the very start. But don't get it confused, John Cena's posts aren't completely meaningless and empty. Each post does have a hidden meaning and story behind it that becomes more clear as time goes on, while other posts contain an entire meaning that only John Cena knows. So knowing all of that background information on how Cena's page works, that brings us to his new post that includes the actress Sydney Sweeney. Cena posted a picture of Sydney's face on Steve Austin's face, and the picture read, "Stone Cold Sydney Sweeney." So knowing the cryptic levels of Cena's page, there could be several meanings behind him posting her to the page. Maybe it's his way of hinting and confirming that the both of them will be filming a project together in the near future. Is he teasing Sydney making an appearance inside the ring in some fashion? There's been a lot of big pop culture crossovers in the company in recent years, and Sydney Sweeney is one of the most popular actresses in the world, so it would be a pretty major crossover. But it looks like we'll have to wait a decent amount of time to learn about the real meaning behind Cena's posting of Sydney Sweeney. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks so much for watching.